What's up, everyone? This is a good friend of mine, Chris. We went to college together at Marshall, and this is a video that we have talked about doing for a long time.
Yes.
Even back when we were both in college, and for some reason, when we were together almost all the time in a studio with all this nice equipment,
Yes.
we never did this.
Of course.
So now here we are, both out of college, both with master's degrees, and we're sitting in my band room. So sorry about the mess, but now we're finally getting to talk about this. How's it going, everyone? Austin here, and first and foremost, I want to introduce a really good friend of mine who has been a really good mentor to me, a good friend, and someone who I like to share a lot of interest with. I feel like almost everything that we both like.
We do.
Oh,
yeah.
That's great. This is my buddy Chris. I'm going to let him introduce himself, talk about his background, and how our connections came to be. And go ahead, take it away, Chris.
Thank you, Austin. Again, my name's Chris Scarberry. I'm from Huntington, West Virginia. I did my bachelor's and master's at Marshall University with you. Some overlapping times there, but between my bachelor's and master's, I also spent a few years in the United States Army Bands and the West Virginia National Guard Band. That experience for me was just the most important professional experience. I was able to play music professionally, travel around the world. I also, got to stay in shape, which has changed over the years for me. But I am so appreciative of that experience, even though I didn't find it was right for the long term. It was definitely right for me at the time. That experience and exposure led me to so many more musical opportunities and maturity that without that, I wouldn't have had. So I'm always thankful for that.
This is a video that we have talked about doing for a long time.
Yes.
Even back when we were both in college, and for some reason, when we were together almost all the time in a studio with all this nice equipment,
Yes.
we never did this.
Of course.
But today, we are talking all things drums, sticks, and whatever else we can think of in between.
There'll probably be some life talk and education talk in the middle.
Maybe.
Yeah.
First and foremost, Chris, why don't you introduce some of the equipment we've got sitting here in front of us today?
Okay, so in front of me, I've got the Black Swamp 20th anniversary snare drum. This is a UniBody Bacote shell, and UniBody means steam bent solid shell. So it's one ply of wood that gets steam bent in a circle, and then they use a CNC machine to cut it down to like the right sizes, and all those, drill all the holes and things like that. This one has both the traditional snare underneath, and it has a snare on the top head as well. So depending on the application, you can use whichever snares or combinations of snares that you need for the job. This drum is the Black Swamp UniBody Bubinga snare drum, also in the MultiSonic family. The MultiSonic snare drums feature these 5 snare materials, and you choose which one of these you need to activate for the volume or sensitivity of the music that you're playing. So the thinner cables here and the snappy wires, the curly wires, those are going to be better for sensitive, quieter playing. And then when you get to these heavier coated cables, that's what's going to be better for the very loud, higher volume. When you have a piece of music that requires a transition from soft to loud and back and forth dynamically, it's good to have some combination of heavy and narrow to go with it so that the snare response is good across all dynamic levels. This is one of my favorite drums. That's why I brought it today, and I hope you like it.
Almost every single drum Chris owns or has owned, I've probably played on.
Yes.
I own 2 of them that he used to have. So needless to say, you have great taste and have really influenced a lot of the taste that I have today. But we're going to get into just the basic sounds of these, give some short examples, just playing some very basic stuff, some rudiments, some rolls, just to give you an overall sound comparison and what these things are capable of in a musical application, a solo application, whatever it may be. So before we get playing, we need some implements, all right? Because not often you use your hands on a snare drum, okay?
Sure.
But I digress. To my left here is an array of drumsticks that Chris has. These are Cooperman snare sticks with an array of weights and different species of wood. You have persimmon, hickory, and rosewood. And this is another set he has right here. I think you first showed these to me my sophomore year of college, and that's immediately I was just like, who is this company? And I was able to get my first set of Cooperman sticks when they still sold them in persimmon. Mine are 62 grams. So we're going to test these out from the lightest to the heaviest, giving you guys a different example on some of the drums here, because when you're choosing a snare stick, not only are you choosing something that's comfortable for your hands, but you also have to choose something that's good for the music, right? Heavier sticks can produce a lot of sound, right? And you probably don't want that. If you're playing something like Bolero, you don't want the heaviest sticks that's going to really put a lot of air through the drum and make this really deep, thuddy sound.
True.
So we're going to go through these and give you guys some examples on all of the drums, and then eventually we'll go through and test the different multi-sonic settings to see like what sounds these drums can produce.
Absolutely. One last thing about snare sticks. All of these are the model number 1 Graham C. Johns. The feature of these, similar to the Nick Petrellas, is that they have a ball or spherical tip. The benefit to that is no matter what angle the stick contacts the head or any surface, the amount of stick making contact is generally the same. When you get to the sticks that have barrel or acorn or teardrop tips, different angles of the stick will have different surface area to contact and can make different sounds.
So the first one that we'll be demoing today, again, Cooperman Graham C. John number 1s. This is the persimmon species in weight of 60 grams. All right, so the next stick we are going to demo, same model. This is also in persimmon, but this one is in a weight of 72 grams. So getting a little heavier, but not too much. Just from the feel, like Chris said, same length, same width and diameter of stick. So you've got that same feel when you actually pick the stick up, but you can start to feel just a little bit of weight difference. But when it comes to 60 to 72, it's not crazy,
it's not a big
but
difference.
noticeable.
Sure.
Right? So now we can start to get into passages that a little bit more aggressive, but nothing too crazy. But you can actually move a little bit with these sticks because you come from that lighter. You're like trying to be sensitive so they don't fly out of your hands. These ones, I feel like you have more power, a little bit more speed with them.
I think 70 grams to 80 grams is a very normal, just general weight for sure for sticks.
Yeah. Nice. A lot more body, but I still have that lightness in this lower range. So at some points I still feel like I'm trying to fight myself. Don't go too much because with that lightness, you feel like you're not putting as much pressure on the stick, so you feel like it's going to fly out.
It's definitely, lighter sticks definitely have more potential for the whip crack motion. And that's great for, exercising the range of motion. But Typically, we don't need that. We don't need a lot of that if we have good control and good technique.
All right, so we're moving on, just going up a couple grams here. So this is actually a Graham C. John in hickory. Now, I'll be honest, I have not tried the hickory ones just yet. Been used to the persimmon or the rosewood variants, so I'm actually interested to try these out myself.
They're using hickory now for most regular production things. The persimmon is getting rare, and the rosewood and granadillo are becoming impossible.
All right, so these are the Graham C. John number 1s in hickory at 76 grams. This is a weight I'm familiar with. Now, granted, my pair I think is 66, and I only used them for solo passages. Like if I was playing out of Mitchell Peters, De La Cluse, Cerrone, whoever.
Sure.
But these feel like the ones you use in a wind symphony setting because it's common.
Yeah.
If you're playing something just very basic and you're just going, okay, this is what you're looking for. All right, so moving on, this one is only going up 2 grams. Again, these are the Graham C. Johns in hickory as well. This is up to 78 grams. And just from picking these up, like you notice, granted, we've been doing this professionally for a while. I notice a little bit of a difference, but it's minute.
Yeah.
And if you gave a young student who's doing this for the first time, they probably wouldn't notice themselves. But as they progressed, and like obviously if you switch from 60 to 78, you're going to see the difference. But from 76 to 78, because we've been doing this, well, I feel just a little bit of a difference, but nothing much. It feels like the weight of these heavier ones starts to shift a little bit more towards the hand.
That's more of the natural product. So, again, the sticks overall weigh the same, and they might have the same pitch or very close to it because, it's a high quality control from Cooperman. It's still a natural product, so somewhere in the stick there could be variations in density. And if it's more to the front heavy or back heavy or center balanced, you're going to feel that.
Yep. Oh yeah, definitely a little bit of a difference there, but again, to a younger player, they probably won't notice it, but definitely can feel it there. And finally, to the last one, and the ones that are near and dear to my heart, just because I got to experience them all the time when we went to school together. These are the Cooperman Graham C. Johns number 1s in rosewood, all right? And these are the 80 grams. I believe the other pair you've got, how much do those weigh?
I play an 86 grams pair. It's for my hands and my background. It's what fits my hands and my technique the best.
Right.
Absolutely.
So what can we get out of this? Well, don't go running to mom and dad, grandma and grandpa, and saying, I have to have this $80 to $200 pair of dollar sticks. No. Maybe. But
For Christmas.
yes, Christmas. What we're saying is, if you want to take this really seriously, at the end of the day, it's a drum, sounds like a drum, Pair of sticks, sounds like a pair of sticks, okay? What we're trying to tell you is, as a trumpet player would use a different mouthpiece, as a clarinet player would use a 2.5 reed versus a 3, okay? It makes a small difference, but it makes a difference. This is the first part of a couple series we're going to be doing, and we're going to talk more drumsticks, more drums very soon. But I want to thank you guys for tuning into this part. Catch you later.